Well, howdy folks, Argsy here. I would love to be saying that we are going to be getting these guys to do our spraying today, but I think they are a bridge too far financially to afford. Maybe next year, we'll see, but they had an open day. Sort of could see what they were doing, how they do their work, had everything out. We've got one of their planes, and it's just coming into land now, sort of doing touch and goes, flying around. We'll watch him come in, do his thing, but yeah, they've just been flying around, giving him a chance to come along and see what it is they do around here. There he goes, he's off again. I like how they've had to put some little orange markers on the telegraph poles down there on the wires just to make sure they know they're there. But anyhow, we had them actually operating over the back fence the other day at home, and I took some videos of these guys. Amazing pilots, honestly, do a fantastic job, and it would be a very, very quick way to get all the weeds dealt with in our crops. But like I said, alas, it is not the time nor the financial decision to make today to pay someone to come in and do this. Maybe next year, we will see. I do like these Robertsons with the sprayer on them, and this setup here, being able to drive out in the field, land the helicopter up on top, pump everything in, fill it up, and it goes again. Awesome, so mobile, so functional. Anyhow, that's enough of that. Our plan today, we need to get back down to the farm. We do have our own spraying to get done. We've got a lot of weeds in our crops, and we need to get those taken care of. We might stop in and have a look at the cornfield on the way back. Our field, we've been over to that. The two fields we've leased, they've germinated, and they are looking pretty good. Pretty happy with how they've all turned out, actually. So, yeah, let's go and jump in, go for a drive back over to the yard, and we will go and get into some work. Well, while we're going past, we may as well just shoot up here into the soybean field, have a quick look at this one, and then we'll stop actually just down the road when we get to the bridge and go and have a look at the cornfield. But they've grown a lot more. Not go too far. Park there's good. They've definitely grown pretty well. Looking very healthy. Nice bit of colour to them. Nice even germination, and they're really grown up, which is good. A few weeds, not a huge amount though, not too many, like you can see there. It's a shame we don't have any advanced spraying technology to be able to just spray the spots we need to. These big spots in here. I mean, we could go through, and if there was none, we can turn the sprayer off and on. We can sort of see where they are a little bit, so maybe we have to use a little bit of farmer's own technology. But yeah, everything's looking good. Happy days. Pleased to see these crops all doing well and having a really good start to their growing career. So, we'll growing career. Never heard of a plant having a growing career. Anyhow, growth cycle, let's call it that. Jump back in, we'll go and just stop in at the cornfield and have a quick look in there. That's already starting to get pretty high actually, so hopefully we've not missed the window to get in there and get that sprayed as well. But let's go and have a look at that, and then we'll go and grab the tractor, get the sprayer hooked up, get some herbicide into the back of it, and go and do some spraying. Well, we're getting about waist high and already starting to see a few tassels and that on top, so fingers crossed we haven't left this too late and we're not going to do too much damage to it running through. We should be okay. We're only in June, so knee high by the 4th of July. Well, watch out, 4th of June, knee high by the 4th of June. A few weeds again in here as well to deal with, but that is what it is. Still got to decide what we're going to do with this grass area. The lodge guy's gone quiet. I don't know whether he took our initial skepticism and rejection, or whether we might have come across a little bit excited when we had a helicopter sitting here, but for now, it's still sitting here empty. We could see if there's anyone around locally who might want to come in and mow it and take the grass off. It's no use to us, we don't have any purpose for it, so we might make some inquiries, contact one of the cattle farmers or something like that. So, anyhow, that's enough of that. We're not getting anything done by stopping and looking at all the fields. Let's go and get back up and get started on actually doing some work in them. Although, before we do go, look at this pickup. We've had a bit of downtime since we finished seeding, and we obviously took the chance to give it a good wash and a good clean and a good polish, looking much tidier than it was. Right, let's jump in, get on up to the yard. So first things first, we'll get the tractor out. We did manage to find some slightly narrower tyres. I think those will fit down between the rows without causing too much damage. We're going to have to be careful driving around, but I think we should be able to get down and around without those. Now, just popping in here, we've got 3 totes. I had ordered these before we had those 2 extra fields, so I'm hoping that there's going to be enough there. We'll just have to keep an eye on it, see how we go on the first couple of fields. We will start over the road, we'll run over the soybeans. In fact, we'll do all the soybeans first, because we should probably be using a slightly different herbicide between the soybeans and the corn. Slightly different crops, they will respond differently. So we'll go and do all of one and then jump in and do the other. Probably soybeans first, and then we'll tackle the corn. Anyhow, let's go and grab the sprayer I pulled out. I'm looking forward to using this. Obviously, it is our piece of kit. It's our equipment, and we haven't used it yet. We haven't had a good look over it, and it all seems to be running pretty well. We've had some water in it, and it's sprayed really nicely. So fingers crossed it's going to do a good job when we get it into the field. So we're going to get hooked up, bring it over here, get it topped up, and we'll go and make a start on some spraying. Alright, so that's us all hooked up. I've just jumped up in here to turn everything on, make sure that pump's running, which it is, so it's drawing out of the tote, and as you can see the weight coming off that, and there we go, that's full. So we've used 528 gallons out of that tote. It's only 44% here into the sprayer. We've got a 1200 gallon capacity in the sprayer, but I think we will just put the 1 tote in for now and go and see how far that goes, because I'm mindful of the fact we've only really got 3 that we can use at the moment. So I'm intrigued to see how far it will go across the soybeans. If we can get, what do we say, 2, the field over the road, and maybe the bigger of the 2 fields we've got down the road done, then I'd be pretty happy and pretty confident we might get it all finished. But let's go and see. We'll move the skid steer here out of the way and go and get started. Now, as it turns out, this field here, the area here on the left, which we ploughed and was all new ground, doesn't actually have any weeds in it. One of the joys of ploughing, you tend to manage to bury the weed seeds all nice and deep. Look, there goes the top dresser, the crop duster, teasing us almost, as if to say, look at you down there using your peasant's equipment. But yeah, like I said, we've actually got no weeds up in that left hand bit, which is kind of good. Means we've only really got this section down in here to worry about. So I'm just going to make our way out here nice and carefully. I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to get this all unfolded. Not even sure how big it is, but let's just turn down a row, get that there. Let's just see about getting that unfolded. There we go, first time unfolding it out in the field in anger. We've obviously had it unfolded in the yard. Left enough room to the edge. Boom's overhanging probably a little bit more than I'd like it to. We don't want to be ripping that off in a tree, but there we go. Can we? There we go. Yes, we can raise that up. So that's good. That'll work out really well in the corn. So I think we'll turn that on. Make sure it's all going to work. Look at that, working perfectly. Right. Let's head around this field real quickly and see how it all goes. Well, so far so good. We're not using up too much of the herbicide. It's what, 60 gallons an acre. So we should be able to get, well, if you do that maths, we can actually only get 8 acres out of a tank, or out of the tote. So actually it's probably going on a little bit thicker than I'd like it to, but wasn't worth showing a time lapse or anything for that. We'll just get that field finished. So that's that all done. We'll get this folded up. Like I said, there's actually no weeds up here in the main part, which was the grass, because we managed to bury all the seeds and they haven't germinated, which is fantastic. It does mean we will head on over and go and make a start in one of the other fields. I'm not sure which one. Probably head up to the one we looked at on the way down to the yard this morning, or earlier on. Go and get into that and see how it goes. It's going to take me a little bit of getting used to having the boom and the distance we need to turn around headlands and things like that, but I'm sure by the time we've finished we'll be in a pretty good spot and have it pretty down pat. So let's go and carry on. Well, here we are into the next field, and I'm assuming because we ploughed around the edges, we probably actually don't need to worry about going too close to the edges too. Explains why we've got that sort of band around the outside where there's no weeds. So that's actually going to bode very well, making sure we don't use up quite as much herbicide as we might have had to otherwise. Going to be very, very good. Right, let's get that unfolded again. Get this set to a height once it's gone down. Right, there we go. Jump that up a little bit. That's pretty good. So let's turn that back on again. And let's carry on. We've got a good sighter on where all the weeds are. It's actually probably beneficial that we've let them grow for a little bit longer. Should be able to make a pretty good start. So we'll jump into a little bit of a time lapse here for this. Like I said though, we're not going to have quite as much to do as I thought, which is fantastic. So we'll carry on, get this field done, and then move on down to the next one. So there we go, that's that field done as well. Now I got halfway through that field and sort of felt a little bit like I wasn't taking it seriously the way I was driving. It felt a little bit haphazard and kind of just going wherever I wanted to. I've also noticed that there is actually, like what I just sprayed there is some small weeds in amongst the more obvious ones. So whether I've done a good job in covering those two fields off or not, I'm not 100% sure. In fact, we'll take a look at the PDA, just get outside the field here and have a look at that, because I wouldn't be surprised if I've not done the best job there. I think I was more fixated on how quickly can I get through it without using up too much herbicide, and meaning we don't have to buy any more, rather than probably running the way we would have normally if you were doing that properly, up and down rows. I was kind of all over the place, so a little bit of a regret there with that one, but we'll try and fix that, do a better job when we get down into the corn. But let's have a look on the map and see how well we did on spraying those two fields of the weeds. Well, all in all, the field we're in, not too bad. We've actually got just a couple of spots in there, nothing too bad. Go down and have a look at the other one. Much the same, and as I thought, it was probably these areas around the outside where I was a little bit liberal with how close I needed to be. So generally, I'm not actually too disappointed that there might be a couple of weeds still through there. In fact, we actually missed quite a bit up in this one too, which isn't the best, but there you go. You can see our field there that has got a lot in the corn, and if we just go and have a look over there, a lot over in the corn over there as well. So we will certainly make more of an effort to go around the fields and try and harvest more in the rows as we get through those fields, particularly now that I know we've still got 2 totes of herbicide over in the shed, and we can probably have enough to cover off all those fields. Interestingly, I've noticed when we've been running along the road, the traffic stops. It must be detecting almost the collision with the width of the boom on this in an open position rather than as it is in its closed position. They seem to be stopping like they're going to crash into me when they're not at all, so who knows. Anyhow, doesn't worry me if they stop. Let's carry on. Let's go get topped up with some spray that's suitable for our corn, and we'll go over and make a start over in there. There we go, we are getting the rest of the herbicide put in there. This is the second tote, we've already put one in, and it has gone and taken all of them. So that is us full up with, well, obviously not full because there must be room for more, but that is all our herbicide now sitting up in the sprayer. So fingers crossed, that's going to be enough to run over all the corn land we have. We're going to obviously go and tackle the corn ground over the road first. That is the priority, and if we have enough, we will go down and do our 2 leased fields as well. So we'll just have to wait and see how we end up. But let's get this skid steer out of the way, then we'll jump in the tractor and head on over the road. Well, about as full as we could be, 98%, 1182 gallons. Of course, we have capacity for 1200. Now, in light of my comments finishing the last field, we're going to do the right thing. Not drive through the soybeans to get into the corn. We're going to head down this way and take the access in off the main road and head in and get started down there. So, see when we get down there. And here we are, let's get turned in. We will get down to the bottom, get into the field. Now we are going to run around, we'll do a headland pass, get that done, and then we will worry about doing the up and down rows. And like I said, we are going to do our best to try and follow along the rows here with the corn and see how that all goes. Make sure we try and do it as authentically as we can. So we'll get this all unfolded. We're just going to have to wait for it to get right round, then going to lower down. Once we've got it to down, we should, here we go, that's right down, should be able to adjust the height to bring it right up as high as it needs to be for the corn. I think that's about the maximum we can. I don't think there is the doesn't look like we've got any adjustments there with the controls we have, but I would have thought we might have been able to raise the booms a little bit out on the end, but that's going to do. We're just going to have to turn things on and see how we go. So let's crack into this field. Like I said, go around the headlands, and then we'll get into some up and down rows. So we'll see you once we've made a bit more progress. Well, there we go. That is that field all finished. That went really, really well, actually. We've only used about, what, 32% of our tank, so we've still got more than enough to go over and tackle our other 2 fields of corn, which is really, really good. It was very fortunate, actually. Our markers from when we were planting, you could still see those through the corn. It actually worked out that this is the width of 3 rows with the planter, so if we went down every second, or every third row marker, we would have been pretty much right on the money with the width, so it worked out really, really well. It's very fortunate. Right, we're just going to carry on straight down, jump into the leased fields and go and get those sprayed as well, and then that will be us all on top of all the weeds, all the herbicide application, everything that needs to be done for our crops, and all that's really left for them now is to continue growing and getting to maturity and to get a combine in there and see how far we have advanced the farm with the improvements we have made so far. So let's head on down this way, just right up here at the winery, and head on down into our 2 leased fields. And here we are over at the new fields. A lot of weeds out on these ones, actually. I almost feel like there's more weeds out here than the others. It might just be the fact that the corn is a month behind in the growth, obviously not as high as the fields we've just been into. The weeds aren't quite as big either, so I'm not sure whether that's what makes them look more obvious, just the weeds just stand out a little bit more. But anyhow, let's get on in here. Regardless of the fact we are going to have more than enough herbicide to get everything done, so we should be able to just line up here again once more on these rows, get things unfolded and get into a little bit more spraying. There we go, that's all unfolding just perfectly. So we'll let this get up and ready to go, and then we'll get straight into it. That's both of these fields done, and we've still got about 320 gallons of herbicide, so we've managed to get across all our fields, get everything done without having to buy any more, which is fantastic. About the first thing that we did estimate very well. In fact, in saying that, we did pretty well with our herbicide for the, not our herbicide, our liquid fertilizer for the corn. We didn't actually need any more of that, and even our corn seed, we actually over-ordered, if anything else. Soybean seed, yeah, well, that was actually pretty close too, so I'd like to think we did a pretty good job estimating. Anyhow, let's head on back up to the farm. We're just going to get this all tidied away, give it a wash down, put it back in the shed. We'll take a look at the map, make sure we've done a good job getting all the fields sprayed, and then we'll have a little bit of a chat about the plans for the next couple of months. So we'll get in here with the hose and give this a good clean off. It's picked up a bit of dirt and dust and things as it's gone around, and obviously we want to make sure we get any residual herbicide and anything off the frame. We don't want to see it rusting or anything like that, so we'll give this as good a clone as we can. It'd be nice to actually have a proper pressure washer rather than just having to use this hose. I'm sure we'd get a better result, but this is going to make do for what we have now. There we go, it's looking a lot cleaner. A lot less dirt there. Just going to have a look at the tractor as well, make sure that gets a good clean off. I don't know if we're going to need this tractor anymore again this season. It's just about probably done its dash. All we've got really left to do, apart from harvest, is possibly some full tillage. Not sure, we will just wait and see, but this certainly won't be doing that. That'll be the job for the Ford. There we go. Maybe we can give this a bit of a TLC and get some touch-up paint there on the cab. It's starting to look pretty worn very quickly. Anyhow, that looks much better. So we'll just pop on over here, get that turned off. There we go, and we'll go and get the sprayer put away. Now, the other thing we do need to do today is we need to move some of these things. Need to get the combine out, move this header, hook this up to the tractor and pull it out of the way, because, like I said earlier, we do have the bin guys coming, or the foundation people coming, to put in the rings for the 3 new bins that we're getting. So, new to us, second-hand bins. So, we'll need to get these things moved out of the way. Well, it feels a little bit strange having the combine out, but we've got the header here hooked up. We're just going to, where are we going to put this? Might as well just put this up in the top end of the shed here, or the frame. Where it was a little while ago, so that is at least out of the way, not going to get hit or anything like that. That's that done. We moved the plough, you can see that just over there on the right where we've put that for now. That is out of the way and not going to be needed any time soon, so we'll get this backed back in here into this shed where we had it. I haven't given myself a very good chance of doing that on that angle, but we will make our way in there. Here we go. Get that turned off. Not too long now, not too long to wait at all. But that's cleared that up nice for bringing in the foundation guys, the concrete guys, to get some rings put down in here. So hopefully by the time we are back next time, we'll have those down ready to get the bins moved. I am doing a little bit of research. We've talked about it a few times about finding a baler. In fact, that will be a job for the International. If we can find ourselves a baler, we're going to bale up all the corn stalks. We've got a local farmer, one of the dairy farmers, he's pretty interested in taking those for some bedding and things like that. So we've already got those lined up to be sold, which is good. And a bit of a bonus having that extra corn to be able to bale that as well. But there we go. Another episode here, another task done here on the farm. And we are edging ever closer to harvesting. In fact, I think if the next episode's not into harvest, the one after that will very much certainly be making a start somewhere, I think. So keep an eye out for those coming very soon. But for today, that's going to do it for us. As always, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you in the next one.